Hello and welcome to another Royal Reviewer live channel episode. Let's just adjust the camera so you can actually see me. I'm hoping you can. Right, so today is Wednesday the 15th of July 2020 and I have a selection of royal stories for you. So as always, this is a live chat, a live stream here on YouTube, so I will endeavour to answer as many viewer comments and questions as I possibly can. Right, I'm just opening up the live chat. I'm sure many of you will be dropping in now. If you are watching on catch up, any links that I share, I will pop in the description box below. Also, I want to take this opportunity at the start of this video today to say thank you to all of the YouTube channel members and all of the patrons in Patreon. So thank you so much for all of your continued support beyond watching the video. If you wish to check out my Patreon, the link will be in the description below as well. Right, so there are 43 people watching right at the moment. I can see people typing, so good morning or good afternoon, wherever you may be. The first story I want to talk about today is Queen Elizabeth. Now, I actually saw this about an hour before I went to bed. So I actually, I watched it once and then I watched it again in bed. And I am talking about the amazing video of Queen Elizabeth, Her Majesty the Queen, doing a video call. And it never ceases to I don't know, it amuses me, never mind the Queen being amused, but it amuses me to see the Queen on a video conference. It's just kind of something that you don't, almost expect to see the Queen sat on something like a Zoom call. I mean, I'm thinking it's Zoom. I've never actually done Zoom myself, but it kind of looked like one of those kind of Zoom conference calls. And the Queen was doing a video call with members of the armed forces. So it's her second virtual royal engagement in a video call. Public video call that we know about. She has done many other private video messages before. She's been speaking to the Prime Minister on the phone every week to do her weekly audiences. She's also done personal, private, family video calls. Now, some people have been thinking, who is helping the Queen set up for these video calls? Is it the Queen herself? Does she know how to work Zoom? Well, at the start of the big full video, I think you can actually see a bit of a shadow kind of moving away at the start. So I do believe that she's had someone helping her to set it up. But nevertheless, she looked absolutely amazing. Lockdown life, her bubble that she's been in has actually, I think, done the Queen really good. She looks relaxed, she looks rested, she looks healthy, her skin was glowing, and she was as sharp as a pin. Nothing got past her. When she was asking questions, she'd read the brief. I mean, literally, she knew exactly who she was talking to, what their job role was. She understood absolutely everything that was going on, and of course this is not new. This is something that she has done all the way throughout her reign. She has always stayed on top of what is going on. All of the red boxes that she receives on a daily basis, she reads everything. She is known to be a really quick reader, but not only is she quick, but she actually understands and comprehend. Her comprehension is second to none. She knows exactly what is going on in Parliament. She makes a point of making sure that she knows what's going on so that she won't be taken advantage of by any Prime Minister. They are not going to pull the wool over the Queen's eyes. She will never be fooled. So she had read the brief. She knew exactly who she was talking to, why they were there, what their job role was, what their rank was, everything. And you could tell from the call. By the way, I'm not going to post the actual video call because it has been put out already on the royal family's official Twitter. It has been shown on Twitter, the link was on Twitter, but it's actually hosted on the royal family's YouTube channel. I'm talking about the official royal family's YouTube channel, which I posted a link to in the community section of this page last night. So many of you may have seen it from there. So the Queen's taken part in a second virtual public engagement as she held a video call with members of the armed forces based around the world. So this really was truly a global video message. I mean, literally all corners. So as we know, the Queen is spending the current coronavirus pandemic at Windsor Castle. We don't know if she's going to be moving yet to Balmoral, maybe in a couple of months, maybe kind of August time, maybe, we don't know, but we'll see how that goes. So she spoke to representatives from the British Army, Royal Navy, Royal Air Force, and of course and she spoke to the Chief of the Defence Staff General, Sir Nick Carter. So the Queen, whose sign-in name on the screen, some of you may have noticed, was Windsor UK, which I thought was really interesting. The article describes her as looking radiant in a blue dress teamed with sparkling brooch. She did. She looked amazing. The dress looked stunning. The brooch looked stunning. And I agree, she did look truly radiant. So during the call, which actually happened last week, she heard about the work the military personnel were carrying out at home and overseas during the coronavirus pandemic. She said, "Everyone's been extremely busy with the pandemic and doing a wonderful job." RAF, the representative for the RAF in this video call was Lance Corporal Shanwayne Stevens of the Queen's Colour Squadron, who is also, interestingly enough, a member of the Jamaican bobsleigh team. Now, if you're as old as me or older, you may remember the movie, was it Cool Runnings, where it was focused on a Jamaican bobsleigh team. And it kind of, this kind of reminded me of that movie. But yeah, he told the Queen about his lockdown exercise regime of pushing a car up and down the streets, because obviously there are no gyms. And the 94-year-old laughed and said, "Well, I suppose that's one way to train." I mean, she really did find that amusing. And the Queen is known, members of the royal family are known to like things that are a little bit unusual, a little bit out of the norm. So yeah, she was most definitely amused. And I think, I don't know, I kind of got the impression that I think she would have loved to have seen a representation of him doing that exercise regime. There was a genuine, true smile and laughter on her face. So it was really uplifting and upbeat to see the Queen in such a way. So Lance Corporal Stevens, who is based at RAF Northolt, said after the video call, "It was a bit strange. I've been in close proximity with the Queen on quite a few occasions, but never actually had a face-to-face conversation with her. Well, screen to screen. She just said it had been a hard time and it was nice to keep in contact with everybody." So yeah, I mean, he had said previously in the full video call that he has, represented the Queen several times on events such as Trooping the Colour, and I think he was involved in the changing of the guard as well at Buckingham Palace. So he has been in proximity with the Queen before, but never actually done a full-on video call. He said she seems very relaxed, and in fact she made me feel a bit more relaxed when she came on. She was really smiley. Well, the Queen is known to be an expert actually in small conversation, but also, like I said at the start of this video, it would have helped that she knew her brief. She has a really good memory. She's sharp as a pin, even at 94, and she is really good at putting people at ease. So it was, no surprise to me that he commented on that. From the army, it was Lieutenant Colonel Barry Terry of the Yorkshire Regiment, who is deployed to the UN peacekeeping mission in Bamako, Mali. Now, he did describe, she asked him what his mission was, and he went into great detail explaining what his mission was. He also said it was a novel experience from Mali. I think of her as well. The internet connection held up, which was good. Of the Queen, he said, I think she took to the technology really well. She was very happy and very au fait with it all. Yeah, she looked so relaxed and comfortable in front of the camera, just having a conversation. As I said before, I think she has help setting it up, but Other than that, she is perfectly fine in front of the camera doing video calls. Lieutenant Colonel Terry admitted he'd not been able to see his wife and 2 sons back in Gloucester since November, as 2 periods of leave were cancelled because of travel restrictions. He said, "I think with her background, she's used to her grandchildren and her children at various stages of their life being away due to service." Well, that is true. Obviously many members of the royal family have served in the armed forces and been away. Especially with Prince Philip. And of course, the Queen, very famously, in the early part of her marriage, lived in Malta as a naval officer's wife. I think she's familiar with the family separation that service life brings. The Queen also spoke to Able Rate Sophie Levy, who joined the call from her first operational deployment on board RFA Argus. I'm still trying to see, of Curaçao in the Caribbean. I hope I said that correctly. The ship was deployed in April to help the British Overseas Territories during the coronavirus outbreak and will stay in the Caribbean over the summer to provide support for the annual hurricane season. So very, very important work that she was deployed on. The Queen said, "So this is your first deployment, is it? Sounds as though you're rather busy." Levy from Windsor said afterwards, "I called from a cabin on board, so she was able to see what life on board was like and how we live on Argus. She could see my photos in the background of my family." The Queen, of course, is, as I said before, spending the current situation in Windsor, which leads me very, very nicely, I think, into my next story. So before I move on to my next story, I'm going to go up and kind of read a few comments. Kelly says the Queen was awesome on the Zoom call. Kelly says, "Good move, bringing the tiara back. I felt like it was a tiara day today. So why not bring back this beautiful lotus flower tiara? Why not?" Hello to everyone who's just dropping in. Leanne says, "Didn't Her Majesty the Queen have advice to start from the bottom of the red box in case important issues might be buried at the bottom?" Yes. So I think early on in her reign, she had advice from, I think it was her father, who actually said, "Look, sometimes the ministers try and be a little bit sneaky and they try and put all the really important stuff that they might not want you to know at the bottom so that you get a little bit bored by the time you get there, so you don't read it properly." So she always starts from the bottom and works her way to the top. I think that's a really, really good tip. Kelly says, "The Queen is as sharp as a tack." She is indeed. Noel says, "Oh, I do like your tiara. Is it a copy of the Queen's?" It is a copy of one that the Queen owns. It is the lotus flower tiara. I'm hoping you can see. I know the light is quite bright from the window in front of me. It's the one that is now on long-term loan to the Duchess of Cambridge, which she sometimes wears instead of the Cambridge Lovers Not tiara to state occasions such as a state banquet. Laura says, "I remember the movie Cool Runnings." Lots of people remembering that movie. I remember seeing it at the cinema. Was it something like 1993? I've got a feeling it was... I'm quite good with dates. I think it was something like 93. Hello to Lady Buckingham. Hello to you, moderator. The weather's not too good here in the UK. Not raining for me at the moment, but it looks like it might about to. El Hodge says, "Interesting about the red boxes." Hello to everyone again, just joining in. Stephanie, hello, says, "Sometimes the new ways are better than the old ways. We all get a close-up of during these Zoom calls. What a treat." I think technology has been so important. Just imagine if we'd have had this level of pandemic with no technology. Just imagine the state we'd have been in. I think some aspects of the technological use that we've had to do has probably advanced our use of technology. And I do hope, actually, that the royal family have found new, probably more effective and even cost-effective ways of doing some of these engagements. Sometimes you are not going to have a substitute for in-person engagements. Sometimes you have to go and actually see things and experience things. There's nothing like actually being, face-to-face with a person. But there are lots of things meetings, for example, filming and recording, speeches even, where you don't necessarily have to be there. A lot of these kind of video Zoom conferences where you can get people, where you can connect, like the Queen did, with people from all over the world. It's a new way of doing it that you couldn't do in person. So I'm hoping that quite a lot of this technological, advances that we have now are going to carry forward post all of the COVID crisis. Hello to Jaden, who's in Barbados. Wendy says, I'm so happy to see you looking so good. Thank you. Maybe I'm like the Queen. I don't know. Anyway, I said that Windsor led me on to my next story. So on to Windsor we shall go, where on Friday I am very pleased to be able to reveal that an investiture, the first one since lockdown began, is going ahead. And I didn't know this was going to come up. So I was really, really happy to hear this news. So the Queen, obviously still not moving from Windsor, is going to do an investiture. And the reason why we're finding out about this, I think, is because of a really high profile, amazing, wonderful person who is being knighted by the Queen. And of course, I'm talking about Captain Tom Moore, who was of course promoted by the Queen, and he was promoted for his birthday, but then it was announced he was also getting a knighthood, and I cannot think of anybody more deserving of a knighthood. He inspired a whole generation, and he raised over £30 million for the National Health Service charities throughout the pandemic by walking 100 lengths of his garden. He caught the media attention, which of course captivated a nation, and he raised so much money. And I was so pleased when it was announced that Captain Tom Moore was going to be knighted. So Friday, #Friday will be a good day indeed. It's not understood. I'm still not quite understood in terms of the social distancing, how a knighting is going to go ahead, because of course with a knighthood you have the Queen will have the ceremonial sword, and of course you do the knighting. But then again, I suppose perhaps with at sword length the Queen would technically be socially distanced, or maybe they might forego the sword in honour of perhaps somebody pinning a knighthood on him, maybe. I don't know how it's going to work. It will be interesting to see the photographs. I'm sure there will be photographs coming out of all of this, maybe even video clips. So I'm looking forward to Friday, to seeing what comes out of it, to see how perhaps a socially distanced investiture will take place. It will be very, very, very interesting. So yes, Friday, the Queen will confirm the honour of a knighthood on Captain Sir Thomas More at an investiture at Windsor Castle. And I can confirm that Thomas More will be accompanied by members of his family. Right, let's just go and see. Lauren says, do we think it'll be televised? They aren't normally televised, but sometimes highlights, they are recorded, and sometimes highlights are given to the media to use. So I think we'll see clips in the news. I think we might see clips on the royal family's social medias, but it won't be, for example, properly televised. It's recorded but not televised, is kind of what I'm saying. Laura says, congratulations to Tom Moore on receiving a knighthood. Yes, indeed. Lady Buckingham says, think he will have been tested and quarantined before the investiture. Again, that's another really strong possibility. Reverend Darlene says, how are they going to put the pin on? I have no idea. We're going to have to wait. We're going to have to wait and see on that one, I think. Right. I'm going to move on now to my final story of the day, which of course was Duchess Catherine, the Duchess of Cambridge, who was, well, she actually recorded this, I think it was last week, but it came out today, and it is for a BBC initiative called, whenever I say this, I get it the wrong way round, but it's Tiny Happy People. I have an inclination to say Happy Tiny People, but it's Tiny Happy People. And it is furthering on the Duchess's work in early years. So, as we know, the Duchess has a passion for the early years. And in this 4-minute video that was posted on the royal family social medias, again, I did make a video on this as well previously, yesterday, so do go and check that out. But you can also find the full video on the royal family's YouTube channel and some of their social media clips as well. So, she met with 3 different families as she helped launch the Tiny Happy People initiative, which helps to develop children's communication and language skills. She said that childhood development has become the cornerstone of the Duchess's charitable endeavours, and now she's expanded into the digital realm by lending support to an initiative aimed at helping new parents and carers. Kensington Palace confirmed that the Duchess has endorsed a new BBC education project which provides a digital library of resources designed for those developing children's language skills from the womb to the age of 4. So this will be a great resource, and I'm hoping that you will be able to access it from wherever you are in the world. During when she was speaking in the video, she said that how much of a child's brain develops during the first 4 years. And I think she said it was something like 90% of the adult brain develops. So, it's in those early years that we can have the most nurturing impact as a parent. And she spoke about George and Louis, and she said about George, she said that she wished that she had known the first time around about the early years as much as what she does now, and how much a parent can have such a positive influence and difference within those first 4 years. So the Duchess has been involved in the Tiny Happy People project for a number of months, having visited the BBC education team behind it last November when she joined staffers creating video resources and social media content. So you may see some of this content coming up in the future. And it wasn't just a chance to see the work, she was also keen to help with the character and background development for 2 animations on parenting. One about making eye contact with babies and the other about singing to them. So this really is going to be diverse content. So yes, it was last week that Catherine met those 3 families involved in the initiative and recorded a chat about her experiences on the project. During her visit, she spoke to young father Ryan and his 8-month daughter Mia, 11-month-old Amira and her parents, Abu and Henrietta, and Kerry and Darren, with their 2-year-old son Dexter, about how educational resources have helped their children's communication skills and language develop. Speaking to BBC Breakfast, Catherine said of meeting Ryan, "He's learned a huge amount from Tiny Happy People. It's information like that I wish I had had as a first-time mum. It's gold dust really for families to be given those tips and tools to be able to use, particularly in those first 5 years." She went on to explain that while parents receive support from midwives and health visitors following the birth, there is often a gap before children start school when they could benefit from programmes such as Tiny Happy People. Families and carers are at the heart of nurturing the next generation of happy, healthy adults, she said, but sometimes it can be hard to know where to turn for advice. She also said, Tiny Happy People is an invaluable resource which provides parents and carers with support and tips, as well as simple activities to ensure children develop the language skills they need to have the best possible start in life. I'm delighted to have been part of its journey and hope that families across the UK will enjoy exploring the resource. In addition to the Duchess of Cambridge's charitable organisation, the Royal Foundation, they will continue to collaborate with the BBC on the long-term rollout of Tiny Happy People. A BBC spokesperson confirmed the free digital resource are designed to be easy and accessible to all, providing bite-sized films, articles and quizzes that help educate on subjects from baby brain development to children's communication skills. At the heart of this initiative is a simple message: talk to children from as early an age as possible. A BBC spokesperson said, research also shows that once children start behind, they stay behind, affecting performance in school, job prospects and even life expectancy. However, evidence also shows that parents and carers can make a big difference if they're supported in the crucial early years. And if children develop language and communication skills before they start school, they have every opportunity to thrive. And I'm going to share a link to Tiny Happy People by the BBC. I will pop this in the description box as well once I've gone off live. So there we have it. That should be appearing on your screens right now. Okay, let's go up and see what people are saying. Miriam says, when you say endorse, do you mean she created it or do you mean she discovered it and is promoting it? She has been promoting it, so she's been involved with it. This is what the BBC has been doing behind the scenes, and they got the Duchess on board because it fits in really nicely with her early years, the work that she's doing on early years. So I think she got involved with it quite early in its development. She's been in contact with it for a number of months, it did said, and of course she is now working with it and promoting it. And I think her association with it is going to be long term by the sounds of everything that has been said. Francis says, is it just me or is the atmosphere in the chats more peaceful now? I like it again. Thank you. It does feel a lot more peaceful as well. Right, I'm just trying to read down the comments. Good morning and hello to everyone who is dropping in. Right, so that's where I'm going to leave today's chat today. If you've enjoyed this video, please give it a big old thumbs up. Don't forget to share on social media, and of course, always hit the subscribe button and notification bell so that you know whenever I upload a new video. Again, thank you so much to all of the channel members. Those are the people in the live chat whose names show up in green. And of course, you get access, if you're a channel member, to the different emojis which I have uploaded. So I'm going to give one to the Queen today. So I'm going to post that one on the screen in front of me. Also, thank you so much to all of the patrons who support me on Patreon. If you do want to check out my Patreon, there is a link in the description box below. So, from me in Shropshire, mwah to you all and goodbye.